Hi, my name is Anthony, and before we get started, I would like to invite you to join Healthy Males, Healthy Females, and HealthyMatch. We're signing up thousands of men and women supporting each other on a mission to improve their 8 pillars of health. Healthy Males, Healthy Females, and HealthyMatch will be employee-owned companies. So we're looking for motivated people to join us on the ground floor. Watch this video and email us to request a free Healthy Males life coaching session for an invitation to the 8 Pillars of Male Health 90-Day Transformation Camp. To learn how to become a verified Healthy Males or Healthy Females member, verified members qualify for HealthyMatch, our private matchmaking service. And to learn how to become a certified Healthy Males or Healthy Females coach. Certified coaches receive a revenue share, plus exclusive opportunities from our Founders Club. Join our vision for Healthy Males, Healthy Females, and HealthyMatch. Email us for more information. Healthy Males is our first priority. Why is Healthy Males important? Because a thriving society starts with healthy men. A society can't be healthy if men are suffering in silence like so many men are today. If you want to understand the health of a nation, then simply look at the condition of its men. Strong, healthy men create strong, healthy communities. My friend Ben and I were talking about how we both had men in our life who helped shape us into the men we are today. Ben often talks about his mentor, Vince Ford, who unfortunately passed away in 2022. The headline in the first sentence of this article about Mr. Ford says it all. He was everything: passionate warrior, bridge builder, mentor. A healthy male can positively impact thousands of people, men, women, children, co-workers, and even strangers in their lifetime. This is the most important men's health video on YouTube, and you're watching it for a reason. In this video, I'm going to share the origin story of Healthy Males. I'm going to share my personal men's health journey over the past 15 years, what you can expect from the Healthy Males YouTube channel, what you can expect from me, and why I need you to help us build the Healthy Males Brotherhood. But first, let's take a quote break. F. Scott Fitzgerald said, "The test of first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold 2 opposed ideas in mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function." So I challenge you to do just that. I challenge you to watch this entire video with first-rate intelligence and not get turned off by my presentation skills or by my amateur video editing or by my ugly face. Watch this entire video, listen to my story, learn from the real-life lessons, and consider my offer at the end to join the Healthy Males Brotherhood. I want you to join us on our mission to help men become more healthy across America. Here's what you can expect from the Healthy Males YouTube channel. I'm going to be 100% authentic and trustworthy in the messages and the stories that I share. I'm going to share inspirational and philosophical quotes that have helped me in my life, and I believe they can also help you. I'm going to share Bible verses, the living Word of God. I believe spiritual health is the foundational pillar to become a healthy male. And last but not least, I'm going to share health and wellness frameworks. Frameworks are important because they are the operating system for our brain. They help us build habits and routines and implement and execute with precision. So let's preview the chapters for this video. The first thing we're going to discuss is who is Healthy Males for and why is it for you? Next, we're going to talk about the 8 pillars of male health and how to self-examine your own health. Then I'm going to share my personal origin story and the health routines I've mastered over the past 15 years. And finally, I'm going to offer the first 1,000 men who email me a free one-on-one coaching session. Now again, I challenge you to watch this video all the way to the end with first-rate intelligence and consider joining the Healthy Males Brotherhood. So, who is Healthy Males for? That's a great question. Have you ever heard of Erickson's 8 stages of psychosocial development? The first 5 stages happen in our childhood and the final 3 stages happen in our adulthood. When I discovered this framework, it literally changed my entire perspective on life. And I want to share it with you today because it's essential for you to become a healthy male. The sixth stage of Erik Erickson's psychosocial development is the young adulthood stage. It's intimacy versus isolation, and it happens from age 19 through 40. In young adulthood, you apply what you learned as a child and as a teenager in real life. The unfortunate truth is that so many young men today were not prepared for young adulthood by their mothers, fathers, and school teachers. But that's okay. As a healthy male, you have the power within to change that. In a few months, I'll be 50 years old, so I've already gone through the young adulthood stage. So let me say this off the top. Poor decisions during the young adulthood stage can last for decades. Young men often rush into bad relationships, careers, and vices without clarity, and this leads to regret, divorce, burnout, or even worse. A midlife crisis often is the result of decisions made during the critical young adulthood stage due to young men having an absence of guidance, self-awareness, or brotherhood. But on the other side of the coin, healthy decisions during the young adulthood stage sets the course for generational health and wealth. This is the stage where brotherhood matters most. Young men need support, accountability, and correction from other men to grow, stay grounded, and pursue wholeness. This is why the Healthy Males Brotherhood we're building matters, and why it's critically important and needed today. The Healthy Males Brotherhood is designed to help men form bonds that counteract isolation and push them toward their purpose. The young adulthood stage is when a man must learn how to share himself without losing himself, which is key to making wise decisions, forming healthy relationships, and becoming the kind of man that you can be proud of. Unfortunately, when men don't master this stage of life, they risk falling into isolation, addiction, emotional detachment, and lifelong regret, which is absolutely avoidable. Now, for someone who's already gone through the young adulthood stage, I believe from age 19 through 40, a healthy male should be focused on developing spiritual love, self-love, brotherhood love, and romantic love, in that order. Most well-intended young men are too needy and too thirsty in the young adulthood stage to develop romantic love, which leads them to being taken advantage of and experiencing relationship trauma. In hindsight, if I could replay my young adulthood, I would invest a lot more time into knowledge of self with the capital S, my person within. Knowledge of self requires solitude and brotherhood in order to understand who you are as a man so you can discover your purpose and become the most attractive version of yourself. If you're still watching this video with first-rate intelligence, thank you. Let's talk about the next stage. The seventh stage is middle adulthood. It's generativity versus stagnation, which happens from age 40 through 65, and it's the current stage that I'm in right now. I mentioned earlier that I'm a few months away from being 50 years old. During this stage, the inner conflict that all middle-aged men face is, will I contribute to something meaningful, or will I remain stuck and self-absorbed? As for me, I have a deep desire to contribute to the greater good of society through coaching, mentoring, and guiding the next generation, which is why I'm building Healthy Males. The middle adulthood stage is the legacy stage. Around age 40, men begin asking themselves questions like, am I making a difference? What am I leaving behind? And did my life matter? Healthy decision-making in the middle adulthood stage is driven by service, legacy, and impact, not by ego or status. After 40 years old, a man must transition from chasing success to building significance. On the flip side, unchecked stagnation after 40 can lead to a midlife crisis. Men who don't resolve the innate generativity that lives inside of us will often feel stuck, bitter, aimless, or emotionally shut down. And this is the root cause of addictions, affairs, depression, and escapism. The most dangerous man isn't the angry man, it's the man who feels nothing. During the seventh stage, fatherhood and mentorship become spiritual callings. Whether biological or not, men at this stage are called to invest in family, younger men, and the community. Healthy Males will serve as a place for generative men to pour into the next generation, not by preaching, but by modeling. Generativity is not just about raising children, It's about raising standards. So if you're watching this video and you're in your middle adulthood stage like me, I challenge you to ask yourself, will you stay in your comfort zone or will you take new risks? Will you build or will you just maintain? Will you mentor, lead, give, and serve, or will you just coast? The seventh stage is where a man either becomes a builder of lives, legacies, and futures, or he becomes bitter, restless, and numb. A healthy male chooses purpose over passivity, impact over indulgence, and legacy over stagnation. Let's talk about the final stage of psychosocial development, the late adulthood stage. It's integrity versus despair, which happens from age 65 onward. This stage is crucial for societal development of healthy men. This stage forces a man to evaluate the story of his life, his choices, his relationships, his contributions, and his truth. If a man in late adulthood accepts his life as meaningful, even with past mistakes, he gains integrity. If not, he wrestles with regret, bitterness, or despair. The question is no longer what can I build, it's what did I build, and how can I pass it on? Elder men hold the wisdom that younger men desperately need. A healthy society needs wise men who have been through the fire and come out with scars, stories, and substance to share. Healthy Males isn't just about strong young men, it's about wise men showing young men the way. Late adulthood is when legacy becomes real. In the late adulthood stage, decisions shift from doing more to being more present, reflective, forgiving, and intentional. Healthy older men don't just live in retirement, they live with the responsibility to lift others up. Their purpose now is not production, but transmission of values, truth, perspective, and love. Without elders, younger men wander. Many young men are lost not because they lack ambition, but because they lack anchoring. When older men disappear into isolation, everyone loses. There is no one to warn of dangers, there is no one to model maturity, and there is no one to bless or affirm the transition of boyhood to manhood. When older men don't lead with wisdom, younger men often follow the loudest fool, which is what we see so often on social media today. The late adulthood stage teaches us this. A man only finds peace in the final chapter of his life when he is at peace with his whole story. And that peace becomes a gift to younger men who need direction and to middle-aged men who fear becoming irrelevant. The decision every older man faces is this. Will I die full of wisdom I never shared, or will I live out my final years as a guide, a teacher, and a man of integrity? Healthy males require sage wisdom from late adulthood men. The integrity, accountability, and correction they provide is priceless. It's one of the most valuable relationships that a young man can have in his life. So now that you know who Healthy Males is for, men who are in their young, middle, and late adulthood stages of life who want to experience the positive sides of their psychosocial development, the intimacy, the generativity, and the integrity sides of their adulthood. Now, let's talk about why Healthy Males is for you. Earlier in this video, I promised that I would be authentic and trustworthy and I would share my real life story with you. So this is an opportunity for me to do just that. Let's talk about my young adulthood. I'm going to be vulnerable with you, so keep watching with first-rate intelligence. About 15 years ago, I went through a very difficult divorce while simultaneously dealing with a very difficult work situation. Here's a picture of me 15 years ago. I was 35 years old and I was not healthy. I laugh at this picture because I kind of looked like Dave Chappelle. I was 6'1" and I weighed about 175 pounds in this picture. When I graduated from college, I weighed 185 pounds and I weigh roughly 200 pounds right now. During this time, I was besieged with stress. I was drinking too much beer and I started smoking cigarettes in the closet. And I was not eating or sleeping well. That was the most unhealthy time of my life, but I had enough self-awareness to know that I needed to do something about it. This quote says it all. A man without a purpose is like a ship without a rudder, a waif, a nothing, a no man. And at that moment, 15 years ago, I felt like a no man. I had no purpose and my life didn't have meaning. And I remember thinking, how do I regain my form? because in the first half of my young adulthood, everything I touched seemed to turn to gold. But now, at age 35, everything seemed to be going downhill rapidly. Some of you men watching this video may have experienced a divorce in the past. Others of you may experience a divorce in the future, God forbid. According to the American Psychological Association, about 50% of first marriages will end in a divorce. And the divorce rate for second marriages is even higher, with about 67% of second marriages ending in a divorce. Those numbers are crazy high, but I believe that's a problem that Healthy Males can help solve. In Malachi chapter 2, verse 16, God said, "For I hate divorce." God describes divorce as an act of violence. With family court laws, it certainly feels that way for a lot of men. Even though I knew my ex-wife and I were not compatible for marriage, it was still difficult to heal from the trauma of my divorce. It takes years to recover from a divorce, and some men, they never recover. For me, it was a spiritual wake-up call and a catalyst for personal growth. And God sent the perfect late adulthood man into my life to help me recover. I still remember it to this day. I decided to go get counseling, and I was sitting in the waiting room when this gentleman walked in. I mean, his presence was regal. He was distinguished and he seemed unreal. He made eye contact with me and I made eye contact with him. And then he went into the back office. So I got up and went to the receptionist and I asked her, who was that man? The receptionist said, "That's Dr. Bastien." So I said, can I talk to him? And she said, "I'm sorry, but he's booked up for months and, I can add you to the waiting list." But I responded, "Could you just ask him if he would please speak with me today? I really need to speak with him." Long story short, Dr. Bastien agreed to speak with me that day and he became my therapist. And for the next 6 months, we spent every week, sometimes an hour, sometimes 2 hours talking. I mean, we were really talking. He was the most confident, distinguished, and wise man that I had ever met. I remember asking him, "Dr. Bastien, where do you get your confidence from?" And he leaned forward in his chair, he smiled at me, and he said, "It's called God-centered confidence. I know who I am, and I know whose I am." And that's all he said. His answers were always short, yet profound. And I remember thinking, I want what he has. I want God-centered confidence. I want to know who I am, but I really didn't fully understand what he meant by whose I am. That conversation opened the door for me to pursue spiritual health. The last day that I saw Dr. Bastien, he gave me this book, the Bible Promise Book. The following week, I moved back to my hometown and Dr. Bastien agreed to continue to mentor me. We emailed each other for the next few years. I'll share more about him later in this video, and you won't believe what happened. It was a supernatural experience. I moved back to Atlanta after my divorce, and I felt like I needed to find a church. So I started driving to Gainesville, Georgia each Sunday, which was about a 2-hour drive from Atlanta, to attend this church called Free Chapel, pastored by Jensen Franklin. I loved everything about that church. While I was attending Free Chapel, I randomly met the creative director, literally amongst thousands of people, and he hired me to do contract work for the church, which led me to doing some contract work for another church called North Point, pastored by Andy Stanley. I love Andy. He's the best teacher I've ever had. I still remember it like it was yesterday. I was sitting in a meeting and the man who was leading the meeting said this quote. He said, "The glory of God is man fully alive." And when he said that quote, it hit me so hard that my eyes started watering. I felt like God was speaking to me through that quote, and I knew that there was something more to it. I began reflecting on the question, what does it mean to be fully alive? Because at the time, if I'm honest with you, I felt barely alive. So you may be experiencing a time right now in your life where you do not feel fully alive. If you feel in your spirit that the glory of God is man fully alive like I did, and if you want to pursue a journey to become fully alive, then Healthy Males is for you. So now that we've talked about who is Healthy Males for and why is it for you, let's talk about the 8 pillars of male health. I'm going to talk about each pillar and share a simple assessment scale so you can measure how healthy you are in all 8 pillars. Quick reminder, at the completion of chapter 4 of this video, I'm going to share my email address with you. The first 1,000 men who email me will pre-qualify to receive a one-on-one Healthy Males coaching session with me. Keep in mind that coaching sessions will be scheduled on a first come, first served basis, and based on demand, you may be placed on the waiting list. Okay, so what are the 8 pillars of male health? The first 4 pillars are spiritual health, physical health, mental health, emotional health. And the next 4 pillars are environmental health, financial health, social health, and sexual health. All 8 of these pillars are essential to male health based on my research and personal experience. And here's the great news. You can achieve mastery in all 8 pillars. You can become a pillar of your health, a pillar of your family, a pillar of your community, and a pillar of society. For the past 15 years, I've dedicated my life toward learning as much as possible about these pillars. I still have some work to do, but I'm excited to share what I've learned, and I'm excited to share the assessment scale that I've developed. The assessment scale is simple. It's a 1 to 10 scale, with 1 being unhealthy and 10 being healthy. And we have average in the middle, and then we have poor and good to the left and right of average. For the next 15 minutes or so, I'm going to guide you through your personal Healthy Male assessment. So pause this video if you need to and grab a pen and sheet of paper. The challenge I have for you is to be completely honest with yourself about the assessment scale. Your health is up to you. So look in the mirror and self-examine your health quality in all 8 pillars. Let's get started. So the first pillar we're going to examine is your spiritual health. Now, spiritual health encompasses a sense of meaning, purpose, and connection to something larger than oneself. It involves cultivating a sense of peace, hope, and well-being through various practices like prayer, meditation, and connecting with nature. It's about finding what gives your life meaning. It's having alignment with your core values, regardless of your religious beliefs. So for me, spiritual health is the number 1 pillar. I believe it's the foundational pillar of male health. So what I want you to do is to evaluate and self-examine your spiritual health on a scale of 1 to 10. What is your level of spiritual health? Write it down on a piece of paper. Are you a 5? Are you a 7? Or are you a 9? Are you a 2 or a 4? Be honest with yourself about where you are on your spiritual health journey. This is important. The second pillar of health is physical health. Now, this is my specialty. I live an active lifestyle, and I've been very intentional about taking good care of myself physically. Physical health encompasses the condition of your overall body, from the absence of disease to fitness level, and how well your organs and systems function. It's about how your body feels, moves, and is cared for. Good physical health involves a variety of factors like nutrition, exercise, sleep, and overall well-being. That's a really great definition to keep in mind, because physical health is truly about how your body feels, how your body moves, and how your body is cared for. Remember, self-care is healthcare. Now, as you know, physical health can vary for all men from young to middle to late adulthood, but it's about listening to your body, and it's about having a marathon approach as opposed to a sprint. The first step is awareness. Take a moment to self-examine your current lifestyle. So again, look in the mirror and score your physical health on a level of 1 to 10. How does your body feel? How does your body move? And how well do you take care of your body? How's your nutrition? How's your exercise? How's your sleep? How's your overall well-being? What is your physical health on a scale of 1 to 10? The third pillar of male health is mental health. Now, this is a very important pillar because men are facing a mental health crisis in 2025. Both men and women are struggling with different areas of mental health, and both men and women experience conditions like depression and anxiety. But men are less likely to seek treatment, and men face a much higher rate of suicide. Men account for roughly 80% of all suicidal deaths, and sadly, middle-aged and older men face the highest risk of suicide. Men may experience symptoms of mental health different from women, in that our mental health usually plays itself out in irritability, anger, and aggression instead of sadness and crying. I've personally spoken to several men who have opened up to me about their struggles with mental health. They've shared with me their deep feelings of depression, anxiety, and anger, some of whom even admitted that they've had suicidal thoughts. Men need emotionally safe friendships to talk, to heal, and to grow, so they can reclaim their strength with integrity, not by suppressing their emotions, but by transforming them into purpose. The cost of ignoring this is generational broken families, addiction, violence, and a nation of boys and grown men's bodies. When men break down mentally, entire communities collapse, because men are often the invisible weight of families, workforces, and social order. So be honest with yourself. Self-examine and rank your mental health on a scale of 1 to 10. I've spent a lot of time myself nurturing, developing, and working on my own mental health, and one of the best definitions of mental health that I've seen, read, or heard about is from Dr. Paul Conti, who is a world-renowned expert on mental health. He's a medical doctor and a clinical psychiatrist. Dr. Paul Conti said the sign of a mentally healthy person is someone who has peace, contentment, and delight. And peace, contentment, and delight is rooted in having agency over your life and expressing gratitude. Having agency over your life means you believe and behave as if you are the primary author of your choices, actions, and outcomes. It's about owning your power, taking responsibility, and actively shaping your future, rather than reacting passively to your circumstances. However, most people rob themselves of having agency, which is a shame. Not having agency over your life comes from lack of awareness and support. So ask yourself these questions. Do you have agency over your life? Do you express gratitude on a daily basis? Do you write in a journal? Do you have peace, contentment, and delight? Write your answers on a sheet of paper. The next pillar of male health is emotional health. Emotional health is about how we manage our feelings and thoughts and how we cope with both positive and negative emotions. Yes, men have emotions and feelings too. But we need to learn how to trust our instincts because we tend to ignore them, especially in romantic relationships. Emotional health is a crucial aspect of our overall well-being because it encompasses our ability to recognize, understand, and express our emotions, as well as our ability to handle stress and setbacks. Now, one area of emotional health that I've leaned into is emotional regulation, which is the ability to effectively manage and respond to emotional experiences. For instance, it's common these days to hear people say something like, "You triggered me," or "I'm triggered." These days, people are often triggered by the slightest thing and they are easily offended. But here's the thing, if a person has good emotional regulation, then they're not easily offended and they're not easily triggered. Emotional health is crucial for men, probably more today than ever before. So same exercise, look in the mirror and self-examine yourself. I challenge you to be honest with yourself and rank your emotional health on a scale of 1 to 10. Ask yourself, how good am I at regulating my emotions? Am I easily triggered and easily offended? Are you a 5? Are you a 7? Are you a 3? Rate yourself because this is the first step to leveling up your emotional health. The fifth pillar of male health is environmental health. Now, environmental health is crucial because a healthy environment directly impacts human health, well-being, and your ability to thrive. Environmental health is the invisible force that shapes a man's habits, thoughts, and energy. You can't become a healthy male in a chaotic, overstimulating, and disordered environment. When a man takes control of his space, he begins to reclaim control of his state. And from there, everything improves. Mindset, health, relationships, and mission. Okay, so when we think about environmental health in 2025, I'm referring specifically to our work, our home, and our digital environments. Let's talk about our digital environments because what we consume online influences our mental, emotional, social, and sexual health. The average American spends roughly 7 hours per day on screens. Many of us spend more time on screens than we do sleeping, moving, or interacting with people in real life. Screens are the new secondhand smoke, harmless in small doses, but toxic with chronic exposure. Your environment either builds you up or it breaks you down. Cluttered, noisy, chaotic, and toxic environments can lead to chronic stress, poor focus, low energy, and emotional fatigue. In contrast, clean, orderly, and purpose-driven spaces can promote clarity, peace, and productivity. Workplaces that are chaotic or isolating and homes that lack order or comfort trigger low-grade fight or flight responses all day long. You can eat clean, lift weights, and read books, but if your environment is toxic, your nervous system stays on edge. So when you think about your environmental health, let's make sure that you focus on having good work, home, and digital hygiene to ensure that you are positioning yourself to thrive. Here's the Environmental Health Assessment Scale. Self-examine yourself and determine your environmental health on a scale of 1 to 10. Be honest with yourself because this assessment is going to enable you to create an environment conducive to becoming a healthy male. The sixth pillar of male health is financial health. Now, this pillar is obviously important, right? Because when it comes to financial health, we don't know what we don't know. So in this case, financial health refers to the overall state of a person's monetary affairs, encompassing their ability to manage income, expenses, savings, and debt. With financial health, men need to be focused on making sure that we and our families are economically secure enough to handle both expected and unexpected expenses, including essential bills, emergency savings, and debt obligations. So we want to make sure that we are surrounding ourselves with mentors and people who are financially successful in real life, and then model their behavior. We want to make sure that we are positioning ourselves to win not only in the short term, but in the long term so we can build a legacy. As for me, financial health has been a journey and I've made some mistakes, but I've learned from them. How about you? What's your financial health on a scale of 1 to 10? Self-examine yourself and be honest. Do you have room to improve your financial health? As for me, the answer is absolutely yes. I can always improve my financial well-being, and I want to continuously improve my financial knowledge. The seventh pillar of male health is social health. Now, social health is not talked about enough, but it's absolutely crucial for young adult and middle-aged men. It's particularly important for men who may experience lower levels of social support than women. Studies show that social isolation and lack of connection are linked to negative health outcomes, including increased risk of anxiety, depression, and even premature death. Strong social connections can lead to better physical and mental health, reduced stress, and a stronger immune system, which is exactly what the Healthy Males Brotherhood aims to do for you. Now here's the thing. Men typically suffer in silence, and a lot of modern men are struggling socially. What I found in my young adulthood and in my middle adulthood is that men face higher levels of peer pressure. We face higher levels of envy from unhealthy men, and we face higher levels of trying to please women. Envy and people-pleasing can absolutely ruin a man's life. It can ruin your health and your future. A man can date or marry the wrong woman, and all of a sudden, the relationship will change the entire trajectory of his life. So social health is absolutely crucial and critical for male health. When I think about social health for a man, I think about the importance of having a strong brotherhood of men with integrity that are helping me become the best version of myself. All men need brotherhood because men are called to leadership in our families and in our communities. So here's the question. Do you have a support system of men who are helping you become the best version that you can possibly become for yourself and for your current or future family? Here's the social health assessment scale. Again, be honest with yourself. Self-examine your social health. Male social health is not about how many friends you have or how big your social network is. It's about, do people respect you? Do you behave in a respectful and respectable way socially? You know, men are a lot like countries. Stronger countries will try to conquer weaker countries, and stronger men will try to conquer weaker men. So it's important to have an alliance. It's important to form a brotherhood of strong men protecting and helping each other. So, what is your level of social health? Rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. The eighth pillar of male health is sexual health, which is often the most neglected pillar in public conversation, but the most privately struggled pillar of health among men. In today's hyper-sexualized world, men are bombarded with temptation, confusion, and misinformation about what healthy sexuality really looks like. Sexual health encompasses various aspects of a man's well-being related to his sexual function, performance, and satisfaction. It's influenced by physical, mental, and emotional factors and can be optimized through various lifestyle changes. It includes our libido, erectile function, ejaculation, and reproductive health. Maintaining good sexual health is crucial for overall physical and emotional well-being. Now here's the thing. I often wonder, why is pornography legal? The porn epidemic is quietly destroying and weakening men. Over 70% of men under 40 consume porn regularly. Porn websites rank among the most websites visited in the world. Chronic porn use is linked to erectile dysfunction, even in younger men, low motivation and dopamine depletion, unrealistic expectations of intimacy, isolation, shame, and addiction. Porn is not just a habit, it's hijacking men's brains, their drive, and their ability to form real connections. Most men are ashamed to talk openly about their sexual struggles, performance anxiety, temptations, or past trauma. But the greatest threat to a man's sexual health is silence. When men support each other without judgment, it opens the door to honest conversations, practical tools for discipline and self-control, recovery from porn addiction and infidelity, and reprogramming of healthy masculinity. Men don't heal from sexual wounds in isolation. They heal in the presence of other strong and honest men. As for me, my sexual health and discipline is in full alignment with my spiritual health. Once I gained a better understanding of myself spiritually, I was able to successfully improve my sexual health and sexual self-control. In a world where lust is everywhere and discipline is rare, men need brotherhood more than ever. Sexual health is foundational to a healthy male, and the path to healthy sexuality doesn't start with willpower alone. It starts with brothers walking the road together. Here's the sexual health assessment scale. Be honest with yourself. Self-examine your sexual health. How healthy are you in terms of your discipline and self-control, and in terms of all things pertaining to your sexual health? Rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. So we just covered a lot, and you just gained a greater awareness around your level of male health. Here's the great news. Over the past 15 years, I've learned that you can absolutely achieve mastery in the 8 pillars of male health. And mastery of the 8 pillars should be the objective for all adult males. Experience has taught me that the more healthy I am in all 8 pillars, the more respect I receive in society, the better I feel about myself in my professional and my personal life, and the better I am in relationships. When you become a pillar of male health, you become a pillar of your family, then you become a pillar of your community, and then eventually you become a pillar of society. That, my brothers, is the purpose-driven life and a life well lived. Here's the bottom line. Men just want to marry a woman who loves and respects them, and they want to have kids who love and respect them. And I believe that your wife, your kids, and others will respect you because you're living a purpose-driven life and you're fully alive. Even if a woman decides to divorce you, which she would have to be absolutely crazy to divorce a healthy male, you can easily replace her because being a healthy male is rare. I attract all types of women every day, but I'm not interested in women right now because I'm focused on my purpose. I'm focused on becoming fully alive. In Genesis 2:15, God gave man work, and in Genesis 2:22, God gave man woman. So focusing on the work of becoming a healthy male before focusing on a woman, I think, is God's design for a man. So I say this. Focus on working to become a healthy male first, and then you will attract the right woman who loves and respects you. But don't stop there. Focus on your 8 pillars of male health for the rest of your life in order to experience the greatest quality of life. In doing so, you'll reduce your chances of facing struggles and suffering that most men face in their lifetime. And here's the good news. You don't have to do it alone. Healthy Males exist to help you achieve alignment in the 8 pillars of health and become fully alive. That's our mission. Imagine thousands of men working toward the same mission and objective to become fully alive. And within your own small group, having men that support you in brotherhood for the rest of your journey. That's what we're all about. That's what Healthy Males is for, to help you live the best possible life, a purpose-driven life conducive to your long-term success. That's the Healthy Males mission and the 8 pillars of male health. We have a big vision, and I believe it's absolutely achievable. I appreciate your staying power and watching with First Rate Intelligence. At the completion of the next chapter, I'm going to share my email address with you. And remember, the first 1,000 men who email me will pre-qualify to receive free one-on-one Healthy Males coaching with me. I hope you answer the call, and I hope you join our brotherhood. Okay, so the next chapter of this video is my personal origin story and my health routines. Now, in this chapter, I'm going to be vulnerable because I promised again that I'll be authentic and trustworthy. So I hope you find resonance in my origin story because I believe my story is relatable to a lot of men. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, about 23% of children in the United States are raised by a single mother. According to the Pew Research Center, the United States has the highest percentage of children living in single-parent households in the world. The global average is only 7% compared to 23% in the U.S. My mother was a single mother with 6 kids, and I had 4 sisters and a younger brother. I was the oldest son. I was born into a situation in my family where I had a lot of responsibility from day one. I helped everyone with their homework. I was a handyman, I was a protector, and I earned money for my family as a kid. I'm grateful for my mother because she taught me discipline from an early age. After playing 1 year of high school baseball, I was lucky enough to go to college where I played 4 years of college baseball while earning a degree in computer science. During college, I was also the resident assistant of the boys' dorm for 3 years. I was second in charge. And when I graduated, they literally gave me the key to the dorm, so I guess I did a good job. That experience taught me a lot. It mainly taught me how to connect and relate to young men from all types of backgrounds different from mine. In hindsight, it also prepared me for Healthy Males. Fast forward to today, 25 years later, who am I professionally and why am I qualified to be the founder of Healthy Males? Well, according to Google, if you Google who is Anthony Ragland, I am a strategic marketer and scientific advertiser with 25 years experience in half a dozen different industries. And if you look me up on ChatGTP, you can read a lot more about my career, including the first 5 years of my career when I was the marketing director for the heavyweight boxing champion. And you can also learn about some of the companies I worked for and the companies I founded in the past. I'm an overachiever. I've had a good career, but I believe that a lot of my opportunities in life have come from my willingness to learn and my willingness to receive feedback from men and women who are wiser and smarter than me. There's 2 types of feedback: constructive feedback and destructive feedback. The former is life-giving and the latter is life-taking. This picture symbolizes what I mean by life-giving feedback. Earlier in my career, in my 20s, when I was working for the heavyweight boxing champion, a man who I admired, who was the general manager of the company, pulled me to the side and asked me, "Have you ever seen a business executive wear a t-shirt to work?" I answered no, and then he said, "Image is everything, so I want you to start wearing slacks and dress shirts to work." So I did, and eventually that matured into me wearing suits to work. As a young man, his constructive feedback changed the trajectory of my entire career. And then another time, a middle-aged man stopped me in the hallway and said, "When you're at work, walk 25% faster than you normally walk. Successful people walk with intention and purpose, and they present themselves as important, serious people." So I did, and his simple constructive feedback separated me from others, and it also changed the trajectory of my career. Here's a picture of me that symbolizes what I mean by willing to learn from others. Earlier in my career, I noticed someone who I admired and respected. He always carried a book with him. So I started carrying books to the office because I like to read, and I would start reading in my downtime. Books are conversation starters, and readers are leaders. There are so many small things that have made a big difference in my professional and personal life because I was willing to learn from other people. So if you're a young adult, especially if you're raised by a single mother or you didn't have consistent positive male role models, seek constructive feedback and have a willingness to learn from other men who you respect. Okay, so speaking of having a willingness to learn from other men who you respect, remember Dr. Bastien? Earlier in this video, I spoke about how he agreed to continue to mentor me, and when he gave me this book, the Bible Promise book, on the last day that I saw him. After I moved back to Atlanta after my divorce, Dr. Bastien and I continued to email each other for the next few years until one day I emailed him and he didn't respond, which was odd because he always responded usually within a day or two. So I Googled and found out that he suddenly passed away from a ruptured cerebral aneurysm. And I also learned so much about him that he never even told me. For instance, he was the oldest boy of 8 boys, so he had 7 younger brothers. He had an insatiable thirst for knowledge and appreciation for classical music and the fine arts. He became passionate about evangelism and missionary work during his teenage years. He conducted his first evangelistic crusade at 18. He worked as a senior pastor for over 18 years. He earned a master's degree in marriage and family therapy. He earned his doctorate in clinical psychology. He was fluent in English, French, Spanish, and Creole. And his favorite Bible verse was, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthened me," Philippians 4:13, which coincidentally was also the favorite Bible verse of Evander Holyfield, who was my boss for the first 5 years of my career. So, my first impression of Dr. Bastien was correct. He truly was regal. He was truly the most distinguished man that I have ever met. He was the perfect mentor for me, and I believe God sent him to prepare me for Healthy Males. And I finally know what he meant by God-centered confidence when I asked him, where does he get his confidence from? His confidence came from knowing God's promises. And that's why he gave me the Bible Promise book. Oddly, even though we spent so much time talking, when he said that he had God-centered confidence, that was the only time that Dr. Bastien mentioned God to me, even though he was a senior pastor and became passionate about his relationship with God as a teenager. Before he passed away, Dr. Bastien encouraged me to reach out to my biological dad. Up until that point, I had only met my dad twice in my life. So here I am at 35 years old, calling my dad to tell him I'm coming to visit him. I told him that I had just gone through a difficult divorce, and his advice changed my life forever. He said, "Son, I know I wasn't in your life growing up, but I want you to have a strong relationship with your Heavenly Father because He's going to be a better father to you than I could have ever been." His advice was published in the newspaper. I suspect that God wanted to archive it. So from age 35 to 45, my dad and I got really close until he died from COVID on March 30th, 2020. But in my opinion, he did his job as a dad by giving me that advice. This whole story seems supernatural. None of it seems random. From my divorce to my encounter with Dr. Bastien to my dad's advice to every single experience I've had along the way. Anyway, thanks for sticking with me. You clearly have first-rate intelligence. So, remember the quote from earlier, "The glory of God is man fully alive"? There's more to that story as well. Remember when I first heard that quote while I was doing contract work for the churches after my divorce 15 years ago? Well, 5 months ago, I decided to visit a new church where I live now, and I randomly met this guy named Mike. Mike's spiritual health is probably a 9 out of 10, and he gave me this book called The Purpose-Driven Life by Rick Warren. So I started reading it every morning, and as I started reading the book, the quote showed itself again. 15 years later, "The glory of God is human being fully alive." It blew my mind. And from that point on, as I started reading the book, God started revealing a vision for Healthy Males. The author, Rick Warren, writes about how God shapes us for our purpose. The S in shape stands for spiritual gifts. The H stands for heart. The A stands for abilities. The P stands for personality, and the E stands for experiences. Our life experiences are not by chance, and the lessons are hidden in our childhood experiences, family experiences, school experiences, work experiences, and most of all, our painful experiences. All the experiences in your life thus far are meant to shape you for your purpose, including this experience you're having right now watching this video. Rick Warren writes, "While it is wise to learn from experience, it is wiser to learn from experiences of others." And that's absolutely true. And it's fundamental to Healthy Males. One of the best ways to discover your purpose is in brotherhood. So, there is no reason why a man should suffer in silence. There is no reason why men should continue to make the mistakes that countless other men have made in their life. Mistakes of the past are avoidable. Men need to be in community. Men need to be in brotherhood. Healthy Males is a place where generative men can pour into the next generation because men are called to leadership. We are called to lead our families, and we have a huge responsibility in society. A healthy society is predicated on how healthy the men are in that society. Being fully alive is not just my purpose, it's your purpose, it's our purpose, and it's His purpose for men. So let's have some fun. Let's talk about health routines. I don't say this loosely because mastery, in my opinion, is absolutely attainable in the 8 pillars of male health, especially when you're in brotherhood. I've been doing it the hard way. I've been pursuing mastery for the past 15 years in solitude. So I've experienced a lot of ebbs and flows, ups and downs, and wins and losses. But I keep Proverbs 24:16 by my bedside as a reminder. It says, "All men fall, but only great men rise again." Keep that in mind. The Healthy Male's journey will be a marathon, but it will be the best pursuit of your life. Another quote that has deeply inspired my health journey is, "Early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise." I stumbled upon this quote in my early 30s and I adopted it. Having a morning routine and an evening routine is a life hack. It gives you a huge advantage. Now, if you haven't picked up on it by now, I'm a quote guy. And when I stumbled upon Ted Turner's quote and how he remixed it to say, "Early to bed, early to rise, work like hell and advertise," well, since I'm an advertising guy, I knew this quote was definitely something that I needed to pay attention to even more. And then when I stumbled upon Al Gore's remix of Ted Turner's quote, "Early to bed, early to rise, work like hell and organize," there was no doubt in my mind that I was going to be an early to bed, early to rise guy. So for me, my health and fitness journey has been centered around those quotes. I get in bed early around 7:30 or 8, and I wake up naturally between 4 and 5 a.m. So what does that look like for me? Before I'm fully awake, I lay in bed and I pray. Then I get out of bed, drink a glass of water, make a cup of coffee, and I read my devotional. This spiritual routine has made all the difference in the world in my life and how I start my day. Once I finish reading my devotional, I go to the gym. I'm into strength training and lifting weights, and I don't like listening to music because I like to focus on mind-muscle connection and my form and getting stronger. I also do a lot of body weight exercises. I love pull-ups and push-ups and dips, and I even started doing sit-ups recently and doing just a lot of core workouts. On some days I do plyometrics like jump roping and old school jumping jacks and skipping and other basic exercises and movements. But one of my favorite things to do is basketball drills. Oftentimes I'm in the gym before 6 in the morning and doing drills and shooting jump shots before anybody else. And I honestly believe at 50 years old it has helped me maintain my athleticism and hand-eye coordination. Boxing is another favorite activity of mine since I started my career in the sport of boxing. I'll spend time hitting the bag, which is a full body workout and also a cardio workout, and it will help you get in shape fast. And not only that, you get to let off a lot of steam. Recently, I started swimming a few days a week. Now, I'm not the greatest swimmer, but I'm getting better at swimming every single time. And being in the water is calming and therapeutic. It's good for the soul, especially in the early morning hours. But my absolute favorite activity is running. So I may run anywhere from 3 to 6 miles per day, 5 days a week. I stumbled upon this book called The Joy of Running early in my 30s, and it absolutely captivated me. I remember thinking as I was reading it, I want to experience that joy. Running is all about running your own race, so I don't time myself. And on the days that I don't run, I walk. I'm averaging about 6 miles per day this year, and lately I've been averaging almost 9 miles per day of walking and running. I spend a lot of time in the sauna meditating, and it's one of the most healthy activities that we can do for ourselves. Speaking of recovery and relaxation, for the past 10 years or longer, I've been getting a massage once a month. I'll be honest, I've gotten a little extreme with recovery. I stand on So boards, and I need to advise you to do this at your own risk, but the benefits of standing on So boards is amazing. It's acupuncture for your feet, and there are mental and emotional benefits as well as physical and spiritual benefits. All of these physical activities would be in vain if I didn't have good nutrition. Some might even say that nutrition is the most important area of physical fitness. For me, it's an area that I've learned about and I've gotten better at over time. Naturally, I love vegetables. I eat a very colorful diet and I eat whole foods. Visceral belly fat around our gut is very dangerous. So mastering nutrition is an area that the Healthy Males Brotherhood will focus on. Also, I've recently incorporated more seeds and nuts into my diet and a lot more fruit like watermelon and other seeded fruits. Here are some of the supplements that I take every day. creatine, protein, a multivitamin, and collagen. And I drink a ton of water, close to a gallon a day. I prefer high pH alkaline water. Other than water, I drink organic and detoxing teas, usually with herbs, mints, lemon, and ginger. But my guilty pleasure is coffee. I drink it black, no sugar, no cream, which I've read has several health benefits for men, including potential health benefits for our heart, our liver, and our prostate. In addition to physical health routines, I also have mental and emotional health routines as well. I spend a lot of time outside in the sunshine. For instance, I often go to the park by myself to read or to journal, and just to do things that enhance my overall well-being. Speaking of journaling, there's no activity that has benefited my emotional and mental health more than journaling. I currently have 3 journals. This is my first journal. It's called the Sunrise Manifesto. It's a guided journal, which means it gives me daily writing prompts. The prompts are, what are 3 things that you're grateful for? What is something from a previous day that made you smile? What is something from a previous day that you could have done better? How can you make today successful? And my favorite section is the mind clutter section, when you get to free flow and write things down that are taking up space in your mind. I also have a fitness journal. It also has guided writing prompts as well. And it also starts out with the gratitude section. Then there's a section for fitness goals of the day and one thing that you appreciate about your body. And then you can record your daily movements and the food that you will eat during that day. The daily fitness tips section is also cool. I always learn something new, or I'm reminded of something that I previously knew. And then it also has a free flow section to write about whatever you're thinking about in terms of your health, fitness, and wellness. And then my third journal is what I call my ideas and spiritual journal. It's a college rule journal, which means that I can just write down anything that I'm feeling spiritually for that day, or I can write down ideas. I can just use it as a complete mind clutter, free flow writing journal that I use for growth spiritually and creatively. Oftentimes I find myself writing a prayer to God or even writing a love letter to God. These 3 journals have proved to be very important to my spiritual health, my physical health, my emotional health, and my mental health. Really and truly, they benefit all 8 pillars of my health. I think journaling is something that every man needs to incorporate into his lifestyle. It's an absolute game changer. So those are my mental and emotional health routines. Social health is also a pillar that I'm constantly working on and improving. I spend a lot of time learning about psychology and human behavior and just observing people. I have a high character inner circle of people relationships right now in my life, which keeps me focused, accountable, and humble. I spend a lot of time working, and I spend my extra time doing self-care. I believe that self-care is healthcare. And I also believe that time is our most valuable resource. So I value my time. I value my time to reflect and to think. I have time to meditate and time to better understand myself, and time to read. Reading and writing is extremely healthy for us. It's been around since the dawn of time, and spending time reading a book and writing in my journal is something that I just value so much. It is a primal thing for us to do. I also read a lot about masculinity and manhood. I'm interested in understanding, what does it mean to be a mature man? And what does it mean to be a man with purpose and with power? And what does manhood mean from a spiritual perspective? What are my godly responsibilities as a man? I really enjoy deep diving into the psychology and the philosophy of masculinity. My health goal is simply to give God the glory by being fully alive. I believe God's purpose for man is to be fully alive, so that is one of the founding principles of Healthy Males. So let's wrap things up. I would like to invite you to join Healthy Males, Healthy Females, and HealthyMatch. We're signing up thousands of men and women supporting each other on a mission to improve their 8 pillars of health. Healthy Males, Healthy Females, and HealthyMatch will be employee-owned companies. So we're looking for motivated people to join us on the ground floor. Watch this video and email us to request a free Healthy Males life coaching session for an invitation to the 8 Pillars of Male Health 90-Day Transformation Camp. To learn how to become a verified Healthy Males or Healthy Females member, verified members qualify for HealthyMatch, our private matchmaking service. And to learn how to become a certified Healthy Males or Healthy Females coach. Certified coaches receive a revenue share, plus exclusive opportunities from our Founders Club. Join our vision for Healthy Males, Healthy Females, and HealthyMatch. Email us for more information.